what about the Sandown circuit for your Mazda? It's a long and fast circuit.
Well, that's, you said it, Will. The straights are long, and with our little Rotary, there's only 2 of those rotors in there, and we got to chase those V8s. I think it'll be very interesting. We're competitive in qualifying this morning, but a lap time is no real indication of what a car can do from A to B. And when the Holdens accelerate out of this particular tight corner past the pits here and go up the back straight, I really do lose 3 or 4 car lengths per lap.
You tried to stay with Alan Grice yesterday, didn't you?
Yes.
Just couldn't on speed?
No, he was marginally quicker, but it's a flywheel effect. I think people sitting at home may not quite understand the arithmetic. Even if we had equal times for a given lap, for a lapse time going around in a circle equal times, his rate of acceleration from one point to, say, halfway in the circuit is enough to get away from you. And like horse racing, you don't have to win by a nose. So if a fellow gets 3 or 4 car lengths on you in one lap, it gets pretty devastating over 26 laps.
Alan, what have you been doing in the off-season? We know that you can't get any more power out of the Mazda engine. What have you been doing to get your lap times down?
We've been chasing the handling wheel, particularly the brakes and the balance of the brakes front to rear, because the car's quite light. It has a tendency to lock up the back brakes, and particularly when the fuel load goes down. So we've been fiddling with proportioning valves, as we call them, that squeeze just the right amount of fluid to the back brakes and give me the confidence I need, because when that pedal starts to go down, it's no fun.
What about the engine? As reliable as ever? I know you have to work it very hard.
Well, we do work them hard, but we've got that Mazda reliability behind us, and I have to compliment the Japanese engineers. We don't touch the engines. We take them out of a box, we put them in the car, and they just seem to go. I am revving them quite hard in the sprint versus the endurance races. I can run them harder. The engines don't quite get as hot as they would baking away in the heat of a Bathurst type race, but it's still a very small engine. Really.
Thank you, Allan Moffat. One of the people refer to the rotary Wankel engine in the Mazda RX-7, and to many people it's probably a mystery. You know, the reciprocating engine with pistons going up and down and how they work. This is a cross-section of a Wankel rotary engine. This is the inlet from the carburetor. This is the exhaust out to the back of the car. As this triangular-shaped chamber rotates like that, and you'll notice that the crankshaft there is going 3 times as fast as the chamber itself. The mixture comes in, widens out the volume in that chamber, and then continues around and starts to compress that mixture, like a piston coming to top dead center in a normal engine. It fires there, and then that power stroke forces the rotor around there until finally comes up to the exhaust port and expels it. And that is how the Wankel rotary engine works, a quite different concept to the reciprocating engines used by all the other cars in the Touring Car Championship.
As you can see on this old engine, instead of pistons, the Wankel engine has rotors, which move in an eccentric motion around the crank, creating a moving combustion chamber. But interestingly, it still has the 4-stroke engine, the suck, squeeze, bang, blow. So you can see here, you've actually got the inlet port there. You can just about see the light coming through there. So of course, first of all, as it's rotating, it actually sucks the fuel and air mixture in, and then it starts to get smaller again, so you actually get the squeeze cycle. So of course, this is getting tiny, and then the spark plugs sit here, so then you get your bang. And of course, that's your power stroke. That's actually what drives this little rotor around. And then, if you go through this side, you can then see you get the blow. So the exhaust is then blown back through this port here, and then it all starts again. Now, interestingly, manufacturers of rotary engines have always been a little bit cheeky when it comes to describing the capacity of their engines. They've looked at this space and they said, well, that area there is about 0.65 of a litre. And of course, there's going to be 2 rotors sitting on this crankshaft, another one here. And they said, oh, that's about 1.3 litres. But actually, when you think about it, there's 3 of those spaces going on all at the same time. So it's actually a little bit more like a 4-litre engine.